All right, let's do a quick pond update. We got like a million little things to talk about. Let's see if I remember them all. First of all, I decided that the pond was just too darn crystal clear. So I added a bunch of dirty old pea gravel I had sitting around from when I built the bog filter. And dumped it in the bog because one of the members of the Garden Pond Forum is doing a bunch of divisions this fall of their pond and bog plants, and they're mailing me like a gazillion plants here pretty soon, and I am going to plant them up. And I realized that the depth of, after doing some more research, the depth of water I had up in the bog, most of it was around 6 to 8 inches deep, and I think it's just too deep for most plants. Most plants want their crowns out of the water. I'm not really a plant person, so I'm really learning a lot as I go here, and we'll see what of what she sends me. We'll see what survives and what doesn't, and how good I do at cultivating it. But most plants want their crowns up out of the water, and at 8 inches deep, that's hard to achieve. So I'm adding more. I ran out of pea gravel. I'm actually gonna have to go get some more, maybe another half a yard or so, to bring the gravel level up just a little bit further so I can plant more stuff where I want to. Anyways, what else? I've got aeration running. I've had all the stuff to get it running for forever, but I just never was distracted by other things. The pump is on a little platform under the deck there with a couple of valves to control how much air goes to which one. There's one over there and one over here. An unfortunate thing about this placement, you can kind of tell, I just went through and netted a bunch of, there's a whole bunch of like pine needles and woody debris and junk in the pea gravel that I dumped in the bog up there. And I just came with my pool net and netted it out. I bought a pool net a long time ago just to do some skimming when I needed to, but it has this proprietary attachment to it. I guess all pool nets work like that. I thought I could just stick it on my utility pole. I can't. So this is my solution, is a piece of 4-inch duct tape. That ought to work. But you can see with the aeration running here, can you see all the bubbles and some of the debris still floating in there? The placement of this, it's at the bottom of the pond. It's as far this way as I can get on the bottom of it and still be on the bottom of the pond. It kind of blocks debris from getting over the negative edge and over into here. So I'll have to figure out what to do about that. I think probably the plan will be, we don't have very much leaf litter, even with all the bamboo around, it doesn't shed very much. And with the flow rate that I have going, most of it ends up over here. And honestly, I'm not totally sure where it goes. I'm gonna have to look into this. I haven't cleaned anything out of this little intake bay slash negative edge area at all, even over where it dumps into the thing. Once in a while I'll find leaves and stuff stuck over there. But anyways, I think what the plan is gonna be is, I don't really need the aeration for now because I don't have any fish in here who need it. And so maybe what I'll do is run it during the summer when it's hot and it's really needed, and then it cools off pretty well here in the fall, and that's when you get surface debris, a lot of surface debris, and I'll just turn it off in the fall because you won't really need it, and that will fix that. Or maybe I'll dink around and find another place for it. But at the end of the day, I think the fish will probably need it. We've had crystal clear water all summer without it running. I'm not sure what else to say about that, other than I'll have to figure that out. I've been working on the edging. As you can see, I'm doing some lasagna gardening over here. I've got a bunch of compost that I've been working on from grass that I took out of the front yard when I was doing a bunch of work up there before returning the excavator. I just spread a layer of compost. Went to, pro tip, if you ever need ridiculous amounts of cardboard quickly and for free, Costco. Holy crap, you get one of their push carts, and when you're going down the aisles, you just look between all the pallets, all the stuff is stacked on, and all the slip sheets, so a pallet has, multiple stacks of whatever's on it, and between each stack is usually like a sheet of cardboard, and it's, 40 by 48, so it's almost 16 square feet of cardboard with no, it's got no flaps, got no tape, no labels or anything. You don't have to do anything to prep it. And there's thousands of them, just thousands of them. So I made 2 trips out, and I took my little 5-foot trailer that my dad gave me that I hooked up to our Subaru. I just went and got stacks and stacks of it. And I'm using that as just a weed suppressor. So little inch or 2 of compost, put the cardboard over top, wet it down to get it to, conform to the landscape, and then just shovel some. This is chip drop wood chips. That's another thing you get for free. I paid 20 bucks to get it delivered faster. But I think I got probably 15, maybe 18 yards of chopped up trees from, probably from a neighbor over there. When they're done chopping them up, they look for the closest place to dump it, and if you happen to be them, you get a giant pile of wood chips. So there's still a huge pile out in the front yard that I'm working on. Been working on the edging. Oh, one other little unfortunate thing. That rock back there, that is a massive, massive rock. And I think as the wood chips kind of turn to soil over a couple of years, it'll expose itself again. But I'm kind of disappointed. I actually dug a hole to set that rock in because I thought it would be too distracting for how big it would be. But now it looks just tiny, and I think I might actually end up, levering it up a little bit and shoveling some dirt into there to expose more of it. I think the other major thing to talk about is the fire pit patio is essentially done. Now, I didn't think, there's a couple things that I don't love about this, and I'll just go through them real quick. Well, I'll start by saying I love this. This is going to be really cool. I think I might use get a couple of like logs and put a sealer, not logs, but like what do you call them? Rounds, log rounds essentially. Put a couple layers of sealer on them and use them as seats. We'll see, I don't know. And then I'm going to figure out how to put some sort of fire pit over top of this. And then you're going to have a little place to sit, roast some marshmallows, and look at the pond. And that's, the fire pit is going to be what disguises the pump vault there. Now, a few details that I would do differently, and I'm not sure how I would do all of them differently, but number one, this piece of Trex decking that I use at the edging works awesome. It's really fantastic. Conforms nicely, bends nicely. I've got it held in place. I just dug a little trench to set it in, and 2 chunks of rebar, and bent it to the shape that I wanted, which was just a 6-foot radius circle. What I would have done is either gotten a piece of square edge Trex, or if I'd been smarter, before I stuck it in the ground, I'd run it through the table saw and cut this groove off. So it had a flat, because this groove catches, all kinds of junk. That'll probably just be something annoying to me forever. But that's really not the end of the world. The other thing I would have done differently is I'd have done a better job planning my elevations from the patio up here to the level down here and with the pump vault. I kind of got confused with all the different steps I was doing, and I ended up with a couple of, not blunders, but things that may come back to bite me in the future. First of all, I wish I hadn't cut the pump vault down this low. I wish I'd left another, ridge in it, had another inch or so. I could dig away from that a little bit, or I could pull it back. I could pull it back and set some. No, I can figure out I can work around that. That's not that big of a deal. The other thing I did is, so right here, the way that the rock's kind of laid out and the liner laid out with the negative edge area here, you can see I don't have it totally covered up yet. This is the edge of my reservoir liner. Well, what I ended up doing was, so if you remember, which you don't, because it was forever ago that I even talked about it, but there's an area over here, and the liner basically runs like that. And there's an area over here behind these rocks that's part of the reservoir. The edge of the liner is over here. These rocks are set inside, and then I backfilled this with larger stone. With the idea that I would have part of the patio would be inside the liner and outside the liner. Now this may end up being one of the worst pond construction details in history. I don't know, we'll see. But in order to hide this and, you know, get the elevation, I just didn't really think this through fantastically. So what I ended up doing was, I folded up the liner. I cut it down as low as I could without leaving myself, without taking away too much. I put a piece of scrap liner over it, and then some of this woven fabric over it, and then I just cover it in pea gravel, and we'll see how that goes. It may come back to bite me. And one other thing that I was so gung-ho to finish this up that I didn't think about. I haven't installed the pumps here yet. My liner is tight up against the edge of here, which it looks cool. It looks great. I got to figure out how to get my pump cords concealed out of this pit and over here where they'll go to power back here. So I'm gonna have to dig this out again a little bit and figure out how to run power cords and whatnot. But anyways, that's kind of the long and short of it. I started laying out my bridge over here across the where I'll have the stream coming from under the deck, just using some scrap lumber that I had around so I could figure out what it's gonna look like, and I'll build that with some more of this stuff that I bought at Habitat for Humanity Restore for like 50 cents a foot. That place is great. Anyways, there it is. I'm absolutely amazed by this pond's ability to clear itself and keep itself clear. It's murky as heck right now. I may end up eating my words on this, but I bet that it will be crystal clear again by tomorrow morning. But we'll see. Ciao. Yep, crystal clear again. About 24 hours later.